basically the entire point of him being out in the ring wasn't even about the United States Championship, really. It wasn't about what he's going to do at WrestleMania. That's really not what it was about. It was basically about him announcing that Prime Hydration is now the first official drink sponsor of WWE, and they have made a deal to have the logo of the drink in the center of the ring mat for every single pay-per-view starting at WrestleMania. Um, I have so many thoughts on this, and the biggest
Yeah.
thought of all is that I absolutely hate it because there were talks about this happening because of the Endeavor deal, because it was a partnership with UFC. And of course, if you've ever watched a single UFC match, then you know their ring mat is covered in their sponsors' logos. And I really was saying, okay, I don't want this. I don't want this in WWE. It's not the same. They're not UFC. Like this isn't the same at all. And I was kind of glad to see that a lot of people agree. A lot of people are not happy about it. A lot of people do not want the logos in there. And I do think it's distracting. I think, first of all,
Mhm.
with it being just one logo, it's distracting because it's the only one in the ring, right? So it's like the only thing that you can focus on.
Yeah.
But then I also just think there's a difference between UFC and WWE. Like, I don't know how to describe it because I mean, there's going to be people who are going to say that it's not really a distraction in UFC, and obviously you're trying to watch the fight, so you can't say like, oh, it's a distraction in WWE because you're trying to watch the match or whatever. Obviously it's the same. You're trying to watch both fights in both companies, but I don't like it. And like you said when we were talking about it briefly before we started recording, that I'm just like, I am a classic gal. I just like
You like your mats.
the
You
the,
like
the ring is sacred,
it is,
so that's why I hate it. I don't like it.
I don't mind, and I totally get where you're coming from. Not gonna disagree with that because all those points are valid. I just see it more in the sense where everyone's doing it, and we are in a completely different, you know,
But it's professional
era.
wrestling
I
though.
know, but if you look at like AEW, they have it, TNA's done it, and that's how you make money at the end of it. And I totally, I get that side of it. I don't mind it because I do like stuff in the middle. I don't know. I when it was in WWE or any game where you could like, create a ring, I always put something in the middle. Um, I do like that look, but to me, it's more that they're steering into the skid of the UFC and trying to, um, you know, make them not as the same, but aesthetically uh similar.
But this is the thing though. There's been talks of them adding more.
Yeah, but how could what do you mean? Like more than
Adding
just the
more
bottle?
logos. Like what if in the corners? Like on the mat? Like are we when are they gonna stop? Because the thing is like there's plenty of ways for that to get money from Prime. Like they've been doing it for years and years and years without putting the logo on the mat. They now have the electronic ring aprons. That's what they've
Mhm,
been doing for every other sponsored match, or
mhm,
having the logo up during the match, or like in the press conferences they're drinking Prime or they're drinking Monster. Like I feel like there's other ways to go about it without it being in the ring, because like there was also people who had said, this was like months ago when they were first talking about this potentially happening, that why not put it on the turnbuckles? Like at least that's
I do
like
like
still
that.
there and you can still see it. Like if you don't want it to be on the electronic apron, it's just
Mhm,
because to me, I'm not against something being in the center of the ring, as you said, but that was always like the WWE logo, the pay-per-view logo. Like it
mhm,
wasn't the logo of some random brand. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm,
and I think that if we're gonna be going in the direction of UFC is everywhere. Like
mhm.
basically only the center of the octagon is not covered. That's like basically, and it's like I don't
Basically,
want
yeah.
that to be a thing in WWE because you kind of want something to differentiate yourself. I don't know. I don't like it.
No, I
Um,
like that. I like those points you made. They make sense. To me, it's yeah, I'm not I don't know. I think I would rather it be something else other than a Prime bottle. I think that's where it is. And I
like
do like having the name of the show or,
yeah,
a logo like that. And why not have them in the corners? Like, my big issue is if you were gonna do these now, don't do don't do multiple. Like, don't do the middle and the corners, you know what I mean? That's gross. And that's
yeah,
way too overstimulating. So you gotta pick an avenue to go down.
yeah, I think the I think, yeah, it's gonna depend on where they go from here and what their plan is, because if you're going to be adding more, um, logos, then yeah, like, what are we gonna do? Just start, like, putting them everywhere or whatever? Like, because then I think that does become even more distracting. Because I mean, right now, it's a giant Prime bottle that's red and blue in the middle is very distracting. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. And it's not even like I have to say this too, because if anyone's gonna try to accuse me of it being because it's Logan Paul, it's not because it's Logan Paul. I would feel this way if it was Slim Jim, if it was
Oh,
Monster
yeah.
Energy.
No, it doesn't
it
matter
it
the
wouldn't
brand.
matter.
No, no, I
Um,
agree there, absolutely.